Welcome to 50 Ball Finals Edition, NBA Finals Edition. You know, it's been a minute, but we got some brand new content for you. It's your boy J Dub.
Yup, it's your boy Rio.
Yeah, we're back in here, man. We got a lot of good topics to go through, but more specifically the NBA Finals Game 5 with the Warriors versus the Celtics. We have a lot of things to get into with that, man. First, what are your thoughts on how that game turned out?
Well, basketball fans, you guys gonna love this one, straight basketball. And that game turned out the way I kind of thought it would. From the beginning, I said Warriors in 6. I can definitely see it going 7. But I'm gonna stick with Warriors in 6 for now. Steph didn't have a great shooting game, but the role players stepped up. You know what you expect them to do when they're playing at home. It's just a well-balanced attack, and in all honesty, I think the Warriors may have these guys figured out. At this point, it's back-to-back games where the Boston Celtics were held underneath 100 points. You got a historic performance from Steph, and then you got a subpar performance from Steph, and they won both games. So they have a variety of attacks they can throw at Boston. So at this point, I'm not gonna say it's smooth sailing, but they seem to have hit that switch to where they know what it takes to win and beat this team, and that's why I think they're gonna close out in Boston. I won't be surprised if Boston wins and it goes to Game 7, but I'll still favor the Warriors in that situation. But I'm gonna stick with my original pick of Warriors beating these guys in 6 and shutting up that Boston crowd.
Yes, the Boston crowd. We'll get to that later too.
Yeah.
By the Boston crowd. So I did pick Boston, and I'm glad I'm wrong. Because I was hoping, I was trying to buy some voodoo and talk to some friends from New Orleans. I was hoping that Boston would, have some diarrhea or like a flu game or something like Michael Jordan. He had that pizza. He had that pizza. He had
that food poisoning. Yeah.
He had the bubble guts the whole game. That's how I was hoping the entire Boston team would have the bubble guts, and maybe that's what happened last night. But for Boston, so I'll speak from the Warriors' perspective on there. They made up for Curry. He went 0 for 9 from 3. But it's not about where your weaknesses are, but it's how you make up for it when you're inefficient in an area.
Yeah.
So when Curry went 0 for 9, that's when Klay Thompson and Poole, they had 8 threes combined together. So when someone asks where did the threes go, that's where it went. So despite him having a bad game, somebody else made the 3. And obviously Wiggins, he had 26 points and 13 rebounds. But the big key that I saw, one of many, was the bench help. So he got 29 points combined from Gary Payton, the third or the second. I forget which one he is because he's, I don't know. Is it second or third?
Second.
Is it second?
GP2, yeah.
I don't know. But okay, yeah, but second.
Yeah.
But Gary Payton and Jordan Poole, they both had 29 points from the bench combined versus the Boston Celtics only had 4 points between these 3 players, right? Devin White, Peyton Pritchard, and Grant Williams. Only 4 between those 3 players that I named. So the bench had a really big boost, and Boston didn't have much to give there. And you're talking about the turnover ratio, 18 turnovers by Boston versus only 12 by the Warriors. And they always lose. Boston, historically, in this playoffs, have been losing when they have way too many turnovers. And these turnovers are from 3 of their superstars, between Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, and Jaylen Brown.
Right.
And those are their 3 big horses. And they're getting 4 apiece like it's Ezel's. They're getting you get a piece, you get a piece, you get a piece. But this ain't the piece that you want. So Boston had, and they obviously shot 37% from the field, so they didn't shoot as well in general. Way too many turnovers from your big names. Their bench was inefficient, like we talked about. And Jaylen Brown, the big culprit here, going to 5 of 18. That's not going to help him at all. So I think all of that led to, in my opinion, and with these stats in front of me, that led to them coming up short in Game 5. So, is there something that you saw besides what I talked about?
I just think you gotta give a lot of credit to Steph, and I say that because, you might be asking, how could you say that after he had the game that he had? Well, I think a lot of superstars need to take note of this, to where just because Steph didn't have his best game, he didn't bring the rest of the team down with him. And he did that by, moving the ball. He's not dribbling the ball, killing the shot clock. You got a lot of guys like Luka and even LeBron to an extent, to where they control the ball so much to where if they're having a bad game, it can easily drag down the rest of the team, and that can be an L. But with this guy where he's moving the ball and other guys have the opportunity to get involved, it all doesn't go to hell just because he's having a bad game. You have guys like Wiggins that can come in and get a lot of points due to the attention that he's getting. And Jordan Poole, he can come in and be that spark plug and get the points that you need. Same with Clay. He's getting enough touches to where he can still hit enough threes for the team to win. So it's just like there's a way of still being effective in the game, even if you're not having your best shooting night. Because again, you're just not killing possessions. You're not dribbling the ball and making guys go cold out there. Everybody's touching a rock. Everybody can develop a rhythm. So I just think that's a testament to the Warriors' philosophy of just ball movement, constant backdoor cuts, and I just don't know if Boston got what it takes to beat these guys 2 straight times. They may win Game 6, but again, I don't know if they got enough to beat these guys 2 straight times. It's like I don't know if they can put up enough points to do that. The Warriors have proven they can beat these guys consecutive times now, and that's without their A game. If the Warriors show up that we know about, man, they can beat these guys in Boston. So, I just think the Warriors' strategy of this ball movement is really on full display now.
I think that's a good point that you mentioned about the ball movement, because like their assists is about the same. I think 24 to 25. Their assists is about the same. So on the box score, you see like, well, what's the difference? Like they pass about the same, but when you actually watch the game, okay, now this audio, when you get the picture, get your 4K or your HD or your 2K, I don't know. Whatever you can afford to watch on your TV.
That's 720.
That's 720. I got that 540. Bootleg as hell. And so when you actually watch the game, you'll see that the Warriors have much better ball movement, and it's more effective. Their passing is more efficient. Then Boston seems a lot more ISO driven. Yeah. I've kind of talked about it before with Jalen and Tatum. It's more ISO. Even though they do make their assists, but it's how they get their assists. Yeah. And I think the Warriors stand out huge with having more playmakers, which I already thought they had some better playmakers with Draymond, Curry. They have much better passers. Now they're not as athletic and long as Boston. Yeah. But they're a bit more skilled in threes and just having the fundamentals of working in their offense. And Boston still seems to struggle at times finding that. And I think maybe they make up for it because certain players on their bench, they like score more. Yeah. So maybe that kind of helps them a little bit. But I think overall, the Warriors have that edge. And I think they kind of figured it out, like you mentioned. It's like a boxing match. Like, you go blow for blow. At some point, you're going to say, I figured you out. You know what you need to do.
Those middle rounds,
So there's going to be that moment where you start to counter one punch or another, but somebody is gonna land the last punch. And I think, and I did root for Boston, but I picked them. I didn't pick them. I was not rooting for them.
I know what you mean. Yup.
You know what I'm saying? But I do see as this series is going along, it's like the facts are there that the Warriors are more experienced. Yeah. They've been there and they know how to play. They know how they need to play. And Boston, even though they're more talented, they're still figuring themselves out a little bit. Tatum, these guys are young. Tatum and Jalen Brown, he's had some good games and he had some bad games. Yeah. So they don't have a real big playmaker there as far as passing.
Right. Yeah. Missing the point guard.
They're kind of missing that. So I think, with these finals, it's not about it's like how do you make up for what you don't have? And I feel like that's what Boston hasn't had an answer. Right. So if your bench isn't doing well, who else steps up?
That's true.
They didn't do that. Their bench wasn't scoring.
That's true.
And I said 4 points for those 3 players on the bench that I mentioned earlier. There were 2 other players that had 6 points combined. I didn't mention them because they scored it within the last minute of the game. When it was already over.
Garbage time.
That's what we call garbage points. When you score within the last minute of the game and it's already over, we call that garbage points. For those that may not have known that. It's like nothing else going on. No one's paying attention. You walked away to get some more pizza, or you walked away to get some more beer, whatever you be drinking. But or you just change the channel entirely.
you know what the perfect analogy for that is? It's like you're moving. It's 4 of you guys moving.
Yeah.
And 2 other guys show up after you guys finish moving everything, and they move like the last 3 or 4 boxes into the truck. But that truck's already packed. Like the move is down or done already.
Yeah.
It's you guys just came to move the last 3 to 4 boxes. So yeah, technically you move. You know, you help move, but the work was already done at that point. So yeah, that's like a good analogy for garbage points. The game was over. Like
that is garbage box too.
Yeah.
Garbage box too, man.
But no, I mean, you laid it on the head. You know, Boston didn't get enough from the bench players. And one thing I have to say about the Warriors, another analogy is like they're like a chameleon. You know, like the Warriors basketball team as a whole is just like a chameleon, to where they can kind of form and shift into any way to win a game. It's like, oh, you guys said we're undersized. We can't win the rebounding battle. Well, they out-rebounded Memphis in that series, the best rebounding team in the whole NBA. And same here, you know, they're trading games, you know, in the rebound league with the Celtics. Yep, they're undersized. But they figure out ways to, you know, win games like that, you know? It's like, oh, we're a smaller team. Well, if our 3 ain't falling, we're going to beat you in the paint. You know, they'll figure out ways to outscore you in the paint. It's like they have a number of ways to where if plan A or B don't work, they got the C game, and the D game, and the E game, and everything. And you know, I'm gonna stay away from that D game, but
anybody want that D game?
Yeah, let's go to the E game. Yeah, but they're just like a comedian. They can shift into whatever they need to be to get the dubs. You know, they can beat you with the superstar treatment with Steph or Clay.
Yeah.
They can go off and get you 30 and 40, and they can beat you handedly. Or, you know, you get the team wins like last game, to where it's a collective effort and you got a number of guys in double digits. Like, these guys don't force the issue either way. It's like the Warriors do what they need to do to shift their game plan and just win the game.
Yeah.
Same on defense. If they need to blitz a guy, they'll blitz him. If they want to let a superstar get off while they suffocate his teammates and, you know, make sure they don't contribute, they'll do that. So that IQ just can't go, you know, without mentioning. You know, the Warriors have a super high IQ, and you hear that word a lot in all sports, but it's super important and tangible to have. You know, it's just high IQ. Again, like boxing, you know, Floyd wasn't the strongest guy. You know, he's super fast, he has speed, but he may not have always been the fastest guy. But, you know, you just have that IQ. It's just, you can't measure that. You know, it's just either you have it or you don't. You figure things out, and I think the Warriors are in that space right now. So, series not over. I'm picking the Warriors still, but I think they're gonna close it.
Yeah, I got my voodoo, man.
Yeah.
Look, I'm Googling right now. You think I'm looking at notes? I'm Googling voodoo.
Yeah, man. I tell you, got some good notes too.
I'm telling you, man. I'm on it. I'm hoping one more game, man. So yeah, we got, man. I mean, like, in some of the news that we had, it came across. So Anthony Davis seemed like he got a little comfortable with his answer recently. He admitted to somebody that was interviewing him that the last time that he shot a basketball was April 5th. I hope that date's about right, that he said. April 5th. And some people had some feelings about it, but I'll let Rio take that, man. What do you think about that?
I can understand it, because, you know, the thing is, Anthony Davis is not in the playoffs. You expect him to be working on his game. I am surprised that he hasn't touched the ball since then, but I can understand why he hasn't, because, you know, we talked about him. He's trying to heal. You know, like, his basketball skills aren't the problem. AD is one of the most skilled players in the NBA, but he's always injured. You know, every time this guy falls, the arena goes to silence, because you think it's another one of those injuries that's going to keep him out for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's just like Eugene. You know, we talked about it. You know, for some of you younger people, if you weren't born in the 90s, you know, it's a great cartoon called Hey Arnold. Well, they had the friend that was a klutz, and his name was Eugene. And he was a well-intentioned dude that always got hurt. No matter what activity they were doing, he would find a way to get hurt, get a tooth knocked out, break a bone, or pop a collarbone or something. And that's pretty much, AD's like the basketball equivalent of Eugene. You know, like, he's a great dude. He's a really great player, but he's just, I don't know, it's just always, bad luck seems to find him. It's like he stepped across a black cat and, you know, just got the bad luck. And he just always gets injured. So he's resting. Long story short, I'm just saying that he's probably not touching the basketball because he's trying to heal from all those lumps and bruises that he has.
Ow. Is that Eugene always curling up?
Yeah, all the time.
Every time. That's what I'm picturing right now. Every time he fall down at all, he's already turning to Eugene instantly. You know, I think that frustration when people have about him when he says that, because it's been obviously like a few months. It's frustration because he didn't have a great season. He missed a lot of games. So when they say he hasn't shot the basketball, some fans are like, you ain't trying to work on your game? What you doing? What you working on? Like, you playing Fortnite? Like, it's what. But it's those like injuries that you mentioned. Though he has to heal. He obviously comes back too fast, and he just always hurt all the time. But I think he's in a situation that maybe he shouldn't have said that. I mean, because it's like the PR. It's like that honest thing. It's like, man, I haven't shot in a while. I'm like, I don't know if you should have said that. A lot of people are mad at you right now. I was like, everybody.
They're keeping it real go wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Keeping it real. Okay, there are limits to keeping it real. Okay, they're honest. You got to understand where you are in the stature. I can say that, right? I'm like in the office. We could say that.
Right.
We're in the office, man. Nobody expects us to be shooting every day.
Yeah.
If we do, then that's fine. But like, if we say that, like, oh, okay. If he says that, what? Like, what?
Yeah.
What you say? Like,
ain't that your job?
Like your head turning? Like, what? Like, some people's like head turn when they get mad. Like, what? So I get that kind of frustration. I feel like he should have just not said that at all. But
yeah, y'all know, when withhold certain information, like in the interview, they ask you, hey, you comfortable doing this job? Well, if you really want that job, you're gonna be like, yeah. You're not gonna be thinking. In the back of your head, you might not be that comfortable. You might be thinking like, hell no, I never done this before, but
why?
So yeah, I mean, you gotta fake it till you make it sometimes. So yeah, I'm with you. He probably shouldn't have said that, but he's being honest, But yeah, he's just trying to heal. That's why he ain't shot a basketball. I imagine he's getting a lot of massages, a lot of stretching, a lot of weightlifting to get his body strong. Now, if he's saying he ain't worked out since April, then we got a different problem.
Yeah,
that's a different problem.
Shooting is the same.
It's like, what is you doing then?
Like, you doing nothing.
Man.
I remind him to take it easy on massage questions too, all right? It's not exactly the best activity. Deshaun Watson out here doing 66 in 2 years.
66 massages. So you don't play many games, so you got so many massages.
I'm just saying, y'all be careful with your activities you be saying you're doing, because sometimes you gotta be mindful, man. I'm like, I don't even say that, and I don't even get massages, like, rarely ever.
Hey, that's one of the moments. This is better, man. Stick with your girl.
Man,
that's it.
I don't think you got one. I don't believe it, man. I don't think you can have a woman and be saying, I have 66 as soon as I be going. Bro, how would that fly?
So your back hurt that bad? Like, man, you need back surgery. You have many massages.
Back hurting from kind of like trying to molest all of them. That's probably doing that, and he's out here.
Dude, that happy ending ain't gonna come if you gotta go back that many times.
Yeah,
like, man, it's gone.
It definitely not that happy. He get lawsuits. It was not that happy as he thought in his mind anyway. But
that's a different story, man.
That one kind of veered off because I'm like, hey, look, you talking about your activities, man. You can chill. You can chill. Stick to your one, man, or two. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, but Davis, I get that though, man. I mean, he should work on this. I think this kind of jumped up to what we want from him. We want Davis to play better and to be healthy and be that top 5 player. We hired Devin. Is it Devin or Darwin? Darvinham?
Was it Darvinham or
Darvin? Ham.
Oh yeah, for the coach, yeah.
I knew it was a meat product. I was like, something ham.
Mr. Ham, this shit.
Mr. Ham. I have a whole bunch of respect for him, trust. I was like, we expect him to come back season strong, get motivated. That's what we expect. So that's what I think that frustration jumps into that.
Yeah.
That's what we want from him. No matter how much he shot, he better shot that day. That's all I'm saying. When that came out, he should have shot it that day.
Yeah.
That news broke.
Yeah. You better show up. That's all I know. You better show up and be ready when next season starts. So that's all I got to say. Whatever you're doing, it better get you right for next season.
We stay out of trouble. Stay out of trouble. But yeah, speaking of which, we did promise we would talk about them Boston fans, man. So I don't know if you guys have seen recently. So there was a Boston restaurant that had some kind of signage. I was trying to preface what kind of to describe, but they had some signage that said Ayesha Curry. So that's Steph Curry's wife. It said Ayesha Curry can't cook, right?
And she's known for cooking.
She's known for cooking. So Boston's kind of that's foul, obviously, right? And then following that, Curry went to the press conference and he got a shirt magically from somewhere. And it said Ayesha Curry can cook.
Yeah.
I was more focused on where'd you get that shirt so fast? It was very key. I mean, that would happen very recent, man. But yeah, man. I don't what's your thoughts maybe on Boston fans and maybe what is too far for
Yeah.
Boston fans, passionate fans, as they call it, man.
So I'm gonna be straight up, man. I'm a Laker fan. I do not like Boston Celtics fans, so I'm gonna get that out the way now. So
For real.
you can't call me out on the bias, but you gotta leave the family out of it. That was petty, man. Like you say she can't cook. Like how do we get from basketball to you talk about this man's wife cooking? And I'll tell you why I don't like Boston Celtics fans outside of them just being Celtics fans is because again they go too far. Like they cross lines that ain't basketball. It goes back to when 2009. When the Kobe and Paul Gasol Lakers played the Celtics in 2009 in the finals. Well, at that time, Lamar Odom was still married to the Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian. And, so when he'll be shooting free throws, they were sitting there chanting ugly wife or ugly sister or something like that. And I'm like, man, that's trifling. Like, I don't care if you think that, but you don't talk about the man's wife, his mama, his pops and all them, and his kids. Like, those things are off limits, especially for basketball. Like, it ain't that much animosity. And the Celtics fans just have a history of doing that, like they're doing stuff at the bus after, they win, and man, it just get real trifling, it is just, they give you a lot of reasons not to like them. Like, humble is not in their vocabulary. So, I mean, too far is just talking about a man's family, like you can't talk about that man's wife cooking, that's so petty, and then somebody had a sign saying, Steph has a famous, his kids are famous, like, Riley, and then Jason Tatum's son Deuce.
Right.
Well, some Boston Celtics fan, they misspelled Deuce, but they pretty much put Jason Tatum's son Deuce over Riley or something like that.
Damn.
And I'm just like, come on, man. You want to say one kid over the other? Like, leave the kids out of it. Like, I don't care how much I hate the Celtics. I'm not talking about any of the Celtics players' kids. Like, who does that?
I might now.
Who does that, man?
Just looking them up.
Let's talk about the fans' kids. That's what we're gonna talk about. Like, man, that's my thing, man. That's too far. Just when it leaves basketball, you get personal like that. You leave them kids out of it. Leave the wife out of it. I'm not gonna say act with class because that's asking for too much. But yeah, you just can't cross certain lines.
Yeah, too much. I agree, man. That's too much. I think we start bringing. That's why I hate Boston. So, I mean, I'm with you, man. I ain't gonna lie. I hate Boston in general, man, because the fans be like, passionate is one thing, but y'all just disrespectful. Y'all just disrespectful with that, man. That's how it kind of it kind of dips into that hatred, going too far. So talking about people's kids and talking about wives and stuff like that. I didn't consider doing that until they did that. I'm gonna start finding their kids somewhere. I know they got it. One of them, like their, I'm sure it's like that. Their Jaylen Brown. I'm sure he got a kid somewhere in the audience watching. I don't know, or Al Horford or something. So I never considered finding the most savage joke for anybody's children until it's oh, so this is how we doing now. This is how we doing,
But man, I want the player, not the players' children. I want the audience children, the people making those jokes. I want their children. I mean, that sounds crazy, but you know what I mean. Like, you want to talk about their children. Like, man, those guys, man.
Tanner, it was a Tanner.
A Tanner.
Exactly. It was. I was I think this one's going too far. It's when the Philadelphia Eagles, when they won the Super Bowl, their fans celebrated. They were storming the city. They were knocking over statues and stuff. I'm like, you're doing too much, and that's what's been celebrating.
Yeah,
that's what it's celebrating.
So lucky they ain't mad.
Y'all out here breaking stuff, and you won. That's why y'all just keep losing. And I was like, yeah, that too, man. Just kind of to piggyback on what you were saying, man. But that's, I mean, Craig got that quick though. He got that shirt quick.
Dude. Probably got it that night.
Where and when, man? I'll put down some money. That is a quick. Amazon got some competition because that was a quick. Got that shirt.
Yeah, got that shirt. Aisha can cook. Yeah. Hey. I like how he matched it petty though. He's like, okay, I got something for y'all.
He's on it, because he has it he has that show called About Last Night.
Oh yeah.
They are like this, they are staying like that, so
yeah.
he will be quick to defend with as he should, so yeah, Boston fans. I don't know much to say, man, but I don't know. Is there any fans that you think is comparatively bad like them? Can you name this like?
Not basketball. I mean, maybe you can go to soccer. Them dudes get a little wild in soccer, but for basketball, nah. Boston Celtics fans are the worst. You know, like when it comes to that, like when it comes to like being vulgar and the line steppers, that's Boston Celtics fans. Like they got the cake on that. You know, and I say that like respectfully and disrespectfully. You know, just because. I mean, they probably won't dispute that. I mean, I think they'll take that title with pride. I mean, that's what they pride themselves on. So
Enthusiastic.
yeah, so I can't think of any worse fans than that. I mean, not the Cali fans, you know, not as great Laker fans.
You think about burning jerseys like Cleveland Cavaliers, like so when LeBron left many moons ago to go to Miami, and their Cleveland was like they're pretty passionate there.
Yeah.
So they were like burning jerseys, like so. You think that's kind of like within the lines, or you think like like in public? I mean, because these are like showing like we hate you, you know.
I don't think it's too far. I mean, I think it's appropriate. Like people burn things, they get mad, you know. So I don't know. I mean, it's not my style. Like I ain't never burned nobody's jerseys, but you know, people get mad. They burn things. You know, like people burn houses down. They burn clothes and you know, burn jerseys. So as crazy as it sounds, I mean, we kind of used to seeing that.
Yeah.
Like we know what to expect out of society when certain things happen. So they were mad he left. They burned the jersey.
Yeah.
Now people might think they're overreacting, but you know, humans are kind of crazy like that. We break things and destroy things. We get mad. So
you break things when they win.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Philadelphia, you break things when you win. Damn.
Like we're not as cultured as we like to think. You know, as a society.
Good Lord. I was thinking about the money and I didn't even pay for it. I'm like, damn. You done broke. I think that's a bad investment. Okay, you gonna burn your jersey. You know, you spent your whole life savings on. And you could have just sold it out on eBay. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, you could have done something smarter than that.
For real, with the Goodwill, you know, got a little tax write-off for donating it.
Something, man. I mean, you're gonna be famous. I mean, what sort of things we're talking about? I mean, with the fans, like what? Cursing at the players, calling out the names, family names, you know, the fans doing something like that. Do you think that's going too far? Like what the fans can say to the players on the court? You know, like Utah fans have said some crazy.
Second place worst fans. Good call.
Utah be saying so. They've been kicked out, right? Like some fan got kicked out for saying like a racial slur or stuff like that. You think that's on the list of things like going too far? You know, kind of like, you know, obviously a wife and kids and mama, you know, like how daddy. I know Father's Day coming up, daddy's kind of messed up too now. I mean, it'll be kind of rolling the daddy too now. You know, respect to the father. I don't want to throw it out. Y'all just want to put it on the mamas. I'm just saying, dads get upset too. But
yeah, I feel you, man. No, man, like you said, cussing at them, it depends. Like, you know, if you say something like, "Oh, you fucking suck," that's fair game, you know. But I'm not big on name calling. Cause my thing is, if you want to do it in the streets, like you seen this person face to face, don't do it behind a controlled environment. Mm-hmm. Like they say that stuff because it's a controlled environment to where there's security and there's thousands of other people that think it just like them, like they're also rooting against you. So people feel tough when winning with a gang. But my whole rule is, if you want to say that in person by yourself, don't say it. You know, that's what cussing or without it. And then, so, you know, you ain't gonna talk about that man's mama or his kids or his wife in front of his face crossing the street. You shouldn't say it. You know, like you're not gonna keep that same energy. So don't go to a basketball game talking like that. And I love basketball, and I root, you know, it's guys I do root against. But I'm not gonna say that. You know, I'm not gonna cross the lines with people like that. You know, like we don't need to be going head up because you play for a team I don't like. You don't know who I am, you know, so why am I ready to cuss at you and fight you when you don't know who I am? So it ain't that serious. Like, I got a life and other things I value, so.
For real? They got the energy.
Yeah.
The energy.
Yeah.
That's like the perfect way to feel like, nah.
Yeah, I got real problems, yeah.
Unbothered at you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say that one time. I swear he said that one time. When he lost, he's like, I got that better thing.
No, man.
That's up. That's up. I mean, that's perfect, though, man. I mean, shoot. I mean, there is a lot more energy you can do. I definitely value passionate fans. I mean, you know, it kind of helps the fan base. It helps make the home field advantage that much more tougher.
Yeah.
You know, there's lines that you think, and I mean, how you conduct yourself, you you can still get them hands. You can still get them. I mean, obviously we seen Ron Artest. He'll run up there, right? What is it? Malice of the Palace, they called it, right? Back when he was like,
I don't blame him.
and
Don't blame him.
went up and punched the wrong person, even. But, they can get them hands, like, so. I mean, as long as they're willing to say that, just be like prepared for this. There's gonna be consequences.
Yeah.
So man, I'm with you though, man. They doing way too much on that end. Boston is like, damn Boston. That's like I'm just glad that the Lakers beat them in 2010. So man, when you lose to them, you'll never hear the end of it.
I'm telling you, bro. I like Takeover Brown. Nothing against them. I just don't like Boston as like an organization, and I damn sure don't like their fans. It is what it is. So yeah, that's all I got for them.
Yeah, that's wild, man. That's all we got. So yeah, I don't know, man. Any kind of closing remarks you got, man? If we're gonna close this out.
No, man. Just check us out. This is a basketball rundown. We got more stuff to talk about, and thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Peace.